Kevin Nash podcast. Click this. Kevin, I have to tell you, you sound better. I was talking to you a few minutes ago, and I'm glad to hear and see my guy back.
I still am not 100. I'm probably about 80%.
Right. Well, listen, 80%.
I trained legs today and coughed up a lung.
An 80% vote will get you a super majority in the House, so 80% should count for
only
something.
if I'm trying to block the images of the rioters from persecution from DOJ.
Blur the faces.
Yeah.
I have it later, but I'll jump to it. Hold on. I just wanted to read a definition for anybody who... I want to read the quote, so that it's all out there. Speaker Johnson has said, quote, "We have to blur some..." This is in regard to the releasing of the... What the fuck was it? 44,000 of the January 6th riots when the United States terrorists attacked the Capitol. "We have to blur some of the faces of persons who participated in the events that day because we don't want them to be retaliated against and to be charged by the DOJ. The definition of obstruction of justice is as follows. Obstruction of justice in United States jurisdictions is an act that involves unduly influencing, impeding, or otherwise interfering with the justice system, especially the legal and procedural tasks of prosecutors, investigators, and other government officials." Hopefully everyone else knows that definition at the Department of
Are
Justice.
these people that fucking stupid? Or they
Yes.
just...
Absolutely.
I mean, please tell me like somebody's holding a cue card and it's like it's a rib on them.
I don't know, dude. It's there is this state of grace that they start to operate in, and I think the Trump administration was guilty of this, where there is a bit of an above the law vibe that people seem to adopt. It's so, even if you feel this way, Kevin, even if you felt this way, if you were the Speaker of the House, to say that, not to try to find some other reason.
It's so it's so anti-police.
I know. Yeah. The party of law and
So
order.
the only time, so let me get this right. The only time that, and I'm not going to say that the right, just that faction of the right feels that the police are in the right is when they're going against Black Lives Matters.
Right. When it's trying to keep them from taking over a government building, they can be killed.
They can be killed, but any other time, it's...
Couldn't this moron at least say, couldn't he go, "We have to blur these faces. Someone might be mistaken for one of these seditious terrorists on their block, and it's not them, and they might have been retaliated against, and this woman just looks like a woman on the video. I don't want innocent people to be harmed because of the terrible actions on when, of course, secretly you just want to protect these people from prosecution. But couldn't you at least be good at it and present it as something else? Couldn't you cover your fucking horns? Could you not?"
This is the guy. This is the same guy that comes into the convenience store for the robbery with the deer rifle, and the Asian guy from behind the counter's got a .38, and the guy can't get the rifle back behind the glass. And the guy peppers him with the .38. That's Johnson. What a perfect name too, right? Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Like just fucking just dragging my balls across his face. Just
Jimmy Delgado, "I love the political talk. It's like debating pro sports or WWE versus AEW." Thank you, Jimmy.
And that's the whole thing. I said, like, how can you not want to have discourse about everything?
Well, exactly. I always tell people when they're like, when you talk politics, hey, we don't really talk politics. We talk about the world. Triglycerides are in the fucking world. Basketball's in the world. Football's in the world. Kevin's quad is in the world. And you know what? The presidency's in the world. So it's going to get covered.
I mean, to me, when somebody goes to the quad thing, it's just like, I immediately, I go to the bottom of Bikini Bottom again, and I see Patrick just some mouth breathing, 50 IQ. It just, who's, hey, you got to get off the bus. This is the end of the line, buddy. It's a good one.
David McCutcheon. I don't care about the borders. We have enough crazy white men shooting up public places. Other countries should be keeping us out. Also, I am the radical leftist. Y'all have been trash talked, but I love you guys and I love the show. I'm not a snowflake like the righty haters who chat on the comments here about how it hurts their feelings. I can take a punch and keep smiling. Keep up the good work. Love the shows. Thank you for the work week entertainment. David, you're what we would call, in the old days, a man.
So when the Civil War comes down, we do have one sniper.
Yeah, yeah, the left. David, you're going to be busy if this ever happens. They're gonna need a general.
You're going to be like Ed Harris.
You know, I was...
What was that? Enemy at the Gate?
Enemy at the Gates.
Jude Law and Ed Harris were the two snipers.
I like that Ed Harris built a career with thinning hair, because you'd think that couldn't happen. But, you know, when my hair started to get thinner, I was inspired by him.
He rocked some good parts. He did a great job as Pollock.
Oh, I'm a big Ed Harris fan.
Yeah, I am too. I tell you where I really dug him was Westworld. He came back to the HBO Westworld.
Didn't watch him. Yeah.
And then what else did I see him in not too long ago? It was that movie I told you about. His son came home. I think his son was Bradley Cooper. It was a kind of tearjerker.
What do we got there?
His dad was a writer. I want to think it was Bradley Cooper. But his dad was dying of cancer or something.
Okay.
Yeah. That was Ed Harris was really good.
Darren Sparks. I've literally listened to every episode of this podcast, Sean. So can I remember in over a year of episodes how to go find the exact moment you said Biden's a good president? No, I can't. However, I can definitely say you've been 95% positive in your assessment of his first term. Lastly, interesting you use the term first term. Lastly, you want me to look at his record. Well, let me tell you, I've talked to a lot of Biden voters in this tri-state area who are disgusted with him at this point because almost everything in their life has cost them more since Joe got in office, let alone, we're going to go back to talking about the war and all the reasons gas is higher. I'm not going to do that. But
did you see where...
not much was higher for me.
Did you see where we passed China in gross national product?
I did. And I actually have a graphic for that, which is coming up now, because